Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So now we're on chapter 25, which is on which is on counsel, what's known as a nasiha. So Imam Haddad, he says, you must be of good counsel to all Muslims. The highest point of this is that you conceal nothing from them which, if made known, would result in good or persevere from something evil. The Prophet ﷺ said, religion is good counsel. The hadith is quite famous, ad-deenun nasiha. Sometimes translated as deen is advice, deen is counsel, deen is sincerity. So all of these translations are out there. The truth is that no one translation really conveys the full meaning of what nasiha means in relation to this hadith. Sometimes it could mean wishing well, sometimes it could mean sincerity, sometimes it could mean just good counsel. But Imam Haddad will speak about this with a bit more detail because it accumulates quite a few different characteristics and quite a few different qualities, the word or the term, the hadith, ad-deenun nasiha, that deen, the religion is nasiha. So what is nasiha? The thing that we're translating as counsel here. So he says that the Prophet ﷺ said, religion is good counsel. Part of this is to support a Muslim in his absence as you would in his presence, and not to give him more verbal signs of affection than you have for him in your heart. Meaning that don't be fake with it, basically. Don't show him all that love, but none of that love actually exists inside the heart. Show him what's inside the heart and reflect that through your actions outside, on the outward. It is also part of this that when a Muslim asks you for advice and you know that the correct course does not lie in that which he is inclined to do, you should tell him so. The absence of good counsel is indicated by the presence of envy of the favors God has given other Muslims. The origin of such envy is that you find it intolerable that God has granted one of his servants a good thing, whether of religion or of the world. The utmost limit of envy is to wish that he be deprived of it. It has been handed down that envy consumes good deeds, just as fire consumes dry wood. The envious man is objecting to God's management of his dominion, as if he were saying, O Lord, have you put your favors where they do not belong? So far he's speaking about what nasiha means. Now there is a hadith in regards to nasiha, that nasiha to Allah, to the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the Muslims, what that all means and how they're different things. Essentially, is looking for the best in all of these situations. That when it comes to Allah, we are sincere, we're doing the best form of worship to Allah. When it comes to the Prophet, we're trying to follow him in the best form of obedience. When it comes to nasiha with the Muslims, we're trying to look for the best, do the best actions and have the best engagement with the Muslims, or with people rather. So he's going to go on to this, he's speaking about it, and at this moment he's speaking about the absence of giving good counsel to someone or wishing well for someone. What prohibits a person, what is the obstacle in someone being someone who gives nasiha, who gives the best to another person? Sometimes it's envy. And envy is such a thing, as the hadith mentions, it destroys a person's deeds, a person's iman, the way fire burns dry wood. And a person shouldn't be envious. I mean, ultimately speaking, all of the favors are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything, our reaction to a virtue or a blessing that's bestowed upon another person should be such that we should be happy. And if we do desire that thing, that blessing, then we make dua to Allah. And what is that dua? Allah, give us that blessing if it's good for us in this world and hereafter. And that person who has the blessing, Allah, increase them in their blessing as well. Increase them in their blessing. So that's fine, and that's the take that we should have. Otherwise, if we're always fussed in regards to why did Allah give it to them, then it's as if we're arguing with Allah that, oh Allah, even though you're the all-wise, you're the all-knowing, how dare you, why would you give it to those people? And look who you're talking to. Look at who is that you're arguing with. You're arguing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're debating with Allah here, the one who's all-knowing and the all-wise. Who are you to do that? Allah knows best. Allah knows what He's doing, and if Allah's decided to give His blessing to another person, well, alhamdulillah, that's amazing. It's not for us, and if we really want it, then put effort towards it, make dua to Allah, and if Allah gives it to you, alhamdulillah. And if He hasn't given it to you, then know that it's for the best. Alhamdulillah, again in that situation. It is permitted to be envious without rancor, whereby when you see a favour of God bestowed on one of His servants, you ask Him, transcendent is He, to grant you its like. When someone praises you, you must feel dislike for his praises within your heart. Sometimes this happens, sometimes people praise you. They say all kinds of good things. And how should you react? If he has praised you for something you truly possess, say, praise belongs to Allah. Praise belongs to God, who has revealed the good things and concealed the ugly ones. Meaning that God knows my real traits, that you only see the good things. And there are mistakes, there are faults, there are blemishes in my character, in my soul, and in my heart, which you do not know of, and God's concealed them. So all praise is to God. And if He praise you for something which you do not possess, say as one of our predecessors has said, "O God, do not call me to account for what they say. Forgive me what they do not know, and make me better than they think." It's a beautiful dua. It's a beautiful prayer. In your case, do not praise anyone unless you know that your praises will incite him to do more good works, unless he is a superior man whose superiority is not well known and you wish to make it so. This being on condition that you are safe from lying and he is safe from conceit. So look, he says that if you are going to praise someone, let it be one of two situations. Either number one, that by praising him is not going to incite pride inside him, or take him down the wrong path where he gets all big-headed. It doesn't inflate his ego. And the truth is, you can't really guarantee that with a lot of people. So in that case, it's better not to praise. And the other thing is, the other reason why you could praise someone in their presence is to let people know that, look, you don't realize that you've got a gem in front of you. And I'll give you an example. Maybe in your circle there is someone who is very, very knowledgeable, or very pious, very practicing, and people do not know. And this does generally happen. Maybe people don't know. So you praise this person so people can benefit from this person. So the other thing to be safe from is from lying or deceiving another person. So there's some of the things to be considerate of when speaking or praising another person. So Imam Haddadi goes on to say, when you wish to give advice to someone regarding any behavior of his that you have come to know about, talk to him privately, be gentle, and do not say explicitly what can be conveyed implicitly. Should he ask you, who reported this to you, then do not tell him, lest you stir up enmity between them. If he accepts your advice, praise and thank Allah. If he does not, then blame yourself and say, O evil soul, it is through you that I was defeated. Think you may not have fulfilled the conditions and proprieties of giving advice. So when giving advice to people, and again this is something that we will always find ourselves in that situation where we may have witnessed something which is incorrect, or we can guide someone. So in doing so, Imam Haddad says that firstly, if you can say that advice in a nice way, do so. Better yet, if you can do it in an implicit way, so a person picks up on the indirect, And also advise them in private. Don't publicly shame a person or say in public so that other people are aware, or you end up shaming this person up. And if this person doesn't understand it through indirect or in an implicit manner, then say it directly. But if you do so, be considerate of the way you say it. And if you have asked them, who told you this, how did you come to know, you don't need to give that information, because that will cause its own problems, and you don't want to do that. We spoke about reconciliation of hearts and mending hearts, bringing people together in the previous chapter. This will do the total opposite. If anything, it will break people away. And if this person accepts the advice, alhamdulillah, that's great, fantastic. Thank Allah, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we all remain on this straight path. And if someone doesn't take the advice on, they react in a negative manner, don't think of them to be bad or on the wrong path. Maybe we made a mistake. Look to in ourselves first. Maybe we did something, maybe we said something wrong, maybe we approached the conversation in a way which was not befitting the actual way it should be done. And again, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you'd find that with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at when he went to Ta'if. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Ta'if, of course the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the Prophet of Allah. He's not going to give da'wah in the wrong way. He's not made a mistake. People reacted in a very coarse and disgusting manner, but yet the Prophet ﷺ turned to himself and looked in himself for the mistake. And that's the Prophet of Allah. That was his humbleness. We genuinely will have mistakes. Maybe we said something wrong, maybe we could have chosen different words or a different tactic. If you are given something as a trust, guard it better than if it were your own. Return that which is entrusted to you, and beware of betraying that trust. The Prophet ﷺ said, he who cannot keep a trust has no faith. Then he brings another hadith. 3 things are attached to the throne: benefaction, which says, O God, I am by you, therefore let me not be denied. Kinship ties, which say, O God, I am by you, therefore let me not be severed. And trust, which says, O God, I am by you, therefore let me not be betrayed. Okay, so the phrase here, I am by you, is in reference to the close proximity that thing has, such as trust, kinship ties, and benefaction. These things, the proximity they enjoy to God's throne. So Allah's throne, they enjoy close proximity. So by saying that I am by you, mean that Allah, we're so close to your throne, we have such an honorable position. Don't let anyone misuse us, because the repercussions of that, the punishment of such a thing, will be so terrible. And the hadith mentions what it does about trust, kinship ties, and benefaction. So betrayal of any kind of trust is evil, and in Tirmidhi the Prophet mentioned that one of the first things that will be taken away from the Ummah is the fulfilling of trust, and that will be the sign of the last days. Speak truthfully and honor your commitments and your promises, for breaching commitments and breaking promises are signs of hypocrisy. The signs of a hypocrite are 3. When he speaks, he lies. When he promises, he breaks his promise. And when he is trusted, he betrays that trust. And that's also hadith. In another version of the hadith, when he makes a commitment, he breaches it. When he quarrels, he acts corruptly. Remember, the whole reason why he's speaking about these things is because of that one hadith, ad-din al-nasiha, that religion is nasiha. And nasiha, is in essence, in a nutshell, is looking to do the best in that situation. In the case of a believer, looking to do the best in terms of fulfilling your duties towards another person, another believer. In terms of your nasiha, the word nasiha in relation to you and Allah would mean to do the best worship, the best form of obedience between you and Allah, with the utmost sincerity and devotion. When it comes to the word nasiha between you and the Prophet ﷺ, it refers to you doing the best that you can in terms of your following of the Prophet, the example of the Prophet ﷺ. In terms of between you and other people, other believers, other humans, it means doing the best that you could possibly do in terms of your interactions with people, your the fulfillment of rights. So that's why Imam Haddad is speaking about not betraying trust and fulfilling promises and so forth. The way you advise people, the way you talk to people, the way you interact with one another. All of this revolves around the word nasiha. So he says, beware of argumentation and wrangling, for they cast rancor into the breasts of men, alienate hearts, and lead to enmity and hatred. If anyone argues against you and has right on his side, accept what he says, for truth must always be followed. If on the other hand he is wrong, then leave him, for he is ignorant, and God the Exalted has said, and turn away from the ignorant. Imam Ghazali speaks about this, that if you are going to be arguing with someone, make sure you're looking for the truth. If you are going to be engaging in such conversations where you are going to be debating, well, make sure your main goal is seeking the truth. For if it isn't, then there's no need to even engage in that kind of talk, in that kind of debate. Truth is what matters. It doesn't matter who speaks the truth, whether it's a child, someone younger than you, someone older than you, someone you like, someone you don't like, it doesn't matter. You follow the truth. And other than that, if someone ignorant, then it's better to turn away. It's better to turn away. There's no benefit in such a thing. Renounce all joking. If very occasionally you do joke to assuage a Muslim's heart, then speak only the truth. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, neither argue with your brother nor quarrel, and do not make him a promise, then break it. So look, joking isn't a bad thing. It's fine. It's perfectly fine to joke. It brings hearts together, it makes people happy. And if you are going to do it, then don't lie about it. Or be offensive to others. Sometimes jokes are done at the expense of other people. That's it's offensive to others. Don't do such a thing. Don't do such a thing. Respect Muslims, especially people of merit, such as the scholar, the righteous, the nobleman, and the one whose hair has grade in Islam. So be respectful of who you're joking about as well, who you're joking with. These are all things taken into consideration. Never frighten or alarm a Muslim. Never mock, ridicule, or despise him, for these are part of ominous and blameworthy behavior. The Prophet ﷺ has said, it is sufficient evil for a man that he should despise his brother Muslim. So we should be very careful. Someone playing pranks on people, people ridicule another person, mock another person, maybe even frighten them, or worry and give anxiety to others. Don't do such a thing. Don't cause distress to another person. Be humble, for humility is the attribute of believers. Beware of pride, for God does not like the proud. Those who humble themselves are raised up by God, and those who are proud are abased by Him. The Prophet ﷺ said, the man in whose heart is an atom's weight of pride will not enter the garden, meaning Jannah. And he said, pride is to deny the truth and despair other people. Despise other people. So pride is one of two things: either rejecting the truth, that's also pride, or looking down upon others. It brings another hadith: the man who looks at himself with admiration and at others with disdain is proud. Then he goes on to say, there are signs which distinguish the humble from the proud. Then he brings a verse of the Quran, that God may separate the vile from the good. So, speaking about signs of humility include a liking for obscurity, a dislike of fame, to accept truth, whether it be from a man of high or low birth, to love the poor. So high and low birth, so there was a caste system, maybe there are tribes, and sometimes these tribes, some deem themselves to be higher than other tribes. So it's in reference to that. To love the poor, associate with them, and keep their company, to fulfill the rights of people, fulfill the rights people have upon you as completely as you can. Thank those of them who fulfill their duties to you, and excuse those who are remiss. Signs of pride. Signs of pride include a liking for sitting in the positions of most dignity when in the company or in public gathering, praising oneself, speaking in a pompous manner, openly displaying haughtiness and arrogance, strutting, neglecting the rights of your brothers have upon you, while at the same time demanding the rights you have upon them. So he's talking about part of being looking to do the best with other people means having humbleness as well. And humbleness, he explains what it is. That it's not about just thinking to yourself that, look, I'm a good person, I'm humble. There's more to it. It's about fulfilling the rights of others. It's about you not worrying about your own rights. It's about you being thankful to people. You taking the truth from whoever it may be, respecting all people, and so forth. And staying away from pride. These are all things which are extremely important and builds our character. And this is all part of being a good person, a good Muslim under the term of nasiha. So one of the things to do is look for the hadith ad-din al-nasiha. I think Imam Nawawi in his collection of the 40 hadith has this hadith in regards to nasiha, what it is. There's much discussion on it by the scholars, and it'll be very beneficial. In essence, it's about doing the best that you can in respect to Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, and other people as well. The best, and of course, in each of these situations, doing the best that you can will mean different things, but you're looking to the best that you possibly can for in each of these respects and each of these regards. So we'll leave it there, inshallah, and pray to Allah that Allah accept from us all and gives the ability to practice upon us. Ameen.